Wow, Sinatra.
Another day, another dollar. I'm saving just to be broke. They said college was serious, but my degree feel like a joke. 4 years or less, I'm saying I got it done. No playing, just to end up at my mom's after I told her I wasn't staying. Well, here we are. No question, I'm a star. Just got some light years to travel, but it's just so far. But I'ma make it though. Make sure you get your focus right. You coming too, it's about to be one hell of a ride. Yeah, this adults and stuff is crazy. They ain't warn us about this. I'm supposed to live my best life on an unpaid internship. I'm supposed to find my husband. Everybody running game. I guess the more things change, the more they stay the same. Went from worrying about on flow to running from Uncle Sam. Now I understand why student accounts never gave a damn. Saving accounts be slipping, trying to work out, but I'm tripping. I forgot health insurance. Oh, I'm my mom's until I'm 26, so I gotta pay these student loans. That's adults with the score doing the most. That's adulting. Moving out of mom's house. That's adulting. But it's all gonna work out. That's adulting. I need a legal side hustle. That's adulting. Cause these bills got me in trouble. That's adulting. Journey's course is never planned. That's adulting. Just leave it in God's hands. Cause that's adulting.
Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the School of Life podcast. You know what? It has dawned on me that I didn't even address that we are back to audio only. This is the third audio only episode, and my bad. My bad, y'all. I'm sure I put it on my personal Instagram. But if you missed it, we will be back on YouTube for season 6. But for now, I made the difficult, well, let me be honest, it wasn't difficult. I made the decision. It was a hard decision, but I did make the decision to finish out the season audio only so that I could have time to regroup and rebuild up my team and all the things. So, welcome. We are back. Um, Second to last episode of the season, which is crazy. You heard it right. There's only one more episode in this season, and y'all, I just can't. I really, really cannot. It has been a journey, a season 5. There have been a number of good changes, some challenging moments, but the most important is that I've showed up. I've continued to show up, and I am really proud of myself for that, and I'm really appreciative to my listeners. So, thank you, thank you, thank you. For some reason, I cannot shake the job topic. Like every time I get, well, not every time, most times when I get a DM or people reach out for thoughts or advice or want to share topic ideas, it's something around getting to the bag. So either entrepreneurship or maximizing a career job. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the girls and the guys need the career talk. So we're back with another episode on our careers. And today we are talking about how to prepare for a job interview. You know what? I have to be honest, a number of things I do in my life, I'm like, oh, this is normal, like common sense. People know how to do these things. And that's not the case. And it's not a bad thing. I just had to grow up young, had to grow up fast. Child been working since 16 and life just been life. And since then, I am ready to sit down and retire. And so all that to say, I know things that people may not know, and it's not a bad thing about those people, but it's just a reminder to like share the knowledge, like share the gems, and this is one of them. So, all of that to say, we're talking about preparing for a job interview. If you don't want to hear career advice and all the things, then maybe this isn't the episode for you. But for those who are on the hunt, soon to be on the hunt, want to get on the hunt, here we are. Before we get into it, though, grab your note taking tools because School of Life is now in session. So let's dive into the essential steps that are needed, or let me say recommended. I'm trying to do better and not saying what you need to do. I'm also working on not being as bossy, but child, I'm an oldest daughter. It's just in me. It's not on me. Anyways, these are the or some essential steps that you should take in order to prepare for a job interview to not only help you ace the opportunity, but also build your confidence. I want to put a disclaimer out there. This is what I would do. This is Jacqueline Armaria Washington's doing. I'm not saying what you absolutely have to do, but this is what I would do. And this is what I have done. Okay. So, because it has worked and it's proven and all the things, that's what I'm sharing. Anyways, no matter what you do though, and aside from the tips I will share, it's important to research, to practice, and to have confidence. I want to put that out there at the top. Research, practice, and have confidence so that you make a strong impression. So let's get into it. My preparation for a job interview lives on some sort of doc, whether it's a Word file, Google file, whatever. And this doc is, or you can handwrite it. Let me put it out there for my old school girlies and guys. This doc has four different sections that we're going to dive into, and that's about the company, relatable experience slash talking points, potential questions and answers, and then questions for the interviewer. I separate my doc into these four sections because I need to clearly see where my reference point is when I am practicing for my interview, as well as when I'm on an interview. So, on or at if you're going in person. I do take this document with me into the interview. So, whether if it's on Zoom, excuse me, then I have it, on my screen next to the Zoom box. If it's in person, then I have it in my little portfolio and I reference it. And I've actually like old school printed the document out and had, my points, bolded, highlighted all the things. No shame in my game. And I've secured the bag that way. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So in that first section about the company, you want to research the company. Y'all know how to do this. Like, you want to research the company. But what you want to do differently that you may not know in your research of the company, you want to make sure your document is calling out why this company aligns with you. So, are the values the same? Do you really, really care about their mission? Have you done similar work and you really want to call that out? Like, what about this company stands out? You want to utilize, obviously, their website, their social media, look up news articles, and even read industry reports. Almost every company releases an annual report. Almost. I don't want to say every because that is not the case, but a majority of companies out there release industry reports. And so find their industry report, read through the report, utilize all of these forms of media to gather information about the company so that you can easily and readily make the connection. On your document, you're going to just have your key points. So if it's the value statement alignment, if it's something you saw on LinkedIn that really stood out, if it's something you saw on TikTok, like your document needs to be able to easily call those things out so that you can refer to them if needed. Secondly, with this section about the company, you want to use information about the company to craft your story. So often, when we're asked, tell me about yourself, or why are you interested in this job, or whatever, like those types of questions are, we get hung up on what we like to do and where we went to college and all the things. And don't get me wrong, those are great, but they mean tell me how you fit into this job. Like, how are you going to help us advance the mission? And so, by doing your research about the company, you then craft your story. And fun fact, your story is different for every job, okay? You need to be whatever their mission is and what they're doing, that's what your story needs to be aligned to. Don't get in them folks' job talking about you you like to do something that's opposite. I don't even have an example at the top of my mind, but craft your story and tailor it to the company specifically. Have your talking points. Second section, relatable experience and talking points. Review your resume. Now, y'all know I used to do resumes, and sometimes we spice them up, put a little language in there, sprinkle, sprinkle, because we want to secure the bag, as you should. But you need to make sure you can speak to your resume. Your resume needs to also speak to the job. And so on your document, have those highlighted key points. What experience do you want to hone in on during this interview? What skills do you want to call out? What achievements? This doesn't need to be the entire resume. Like, you don't need to be sitting there reading word for word what you did at Google. You need to be able to pull out high level. What accomplishments, did you achieve? What conferences did you attend? What metrics did you achieve? What goals did you achieve? Like you see, I keep saying achieve, achieve, achieve. A lot of the interviewers want to hear, what did you do? How did you make this company better? That's where your relatable experience comes in. Second thing, we talked about crafting your story. In this section, you want to make sure that you have concise elevator pitch. So your story is more biographical, I would say. Your story is more biographical. Your elevator pitch, concise, bullet points, no more than four. What is your elevator pitch? What is your background? What are your career goals? It needs to be clear. You need to have clarity and it needs to be concise. This goes into your relatable experience section because your elevator pitch is a direct reflection of the experience you're bringing to the job. The third thing in this section is having key talking points already outlined. So, talking points specifically about your strengths, your weaknesses, career aspirations, anything that in any interview, they're going to ask you about strengths and weaknesses, mostly in any interview. Also, they're going to ask you about um, experience doing the main function of the job. If you're applying to be a communications director at XYZ company, they're going to ask you about developing strategy. Like those types of things you need to know and you need to have your talking points ready so that you're not stumbling looking for an answer. I don't know about y'all, but that's been me before. And at the end, I'm like, what just happened? What did I even answer the question? You don't want that to be you. So, in this section, relatable experience and talking points, have your resume points ready, bulleted. Have your elevator pitch ready, bulleted. And have your talking points centered around the things you know are coming up. The third section of this, you want to have a list of potential interview questions and answers. So you literally can get on Google, you can use AI. There are so many tools out there for you to use where you can say, okay, let's use AI for example. You go into Chat GPT, and I've done this before. I actually have done it recently or did it recently. And I say, hey, this is the job description. This is my resume. What questions might an interviewer ask me? Boom, 20 questions. I was like, ooh, you smart. You smart, artificial intelligence. Anyways, I sat down and wrote answers to all of those questions. Now, did the interviewer ask me all of those questions? Maybe not. A majority of them. I was in the ballpark. I was in the vicinity. Um, but it was good to have pre-made answers because it contributed to my confidence. I was like, "Yes, I know this. I know what I'm going to say when they ask me about XYZ." Also in this section, you do want to have your behavior interview questions. Not sure if you know what behavior interview questions are, but those are the ones that are tell me about a time, can you provide an example of, describe a challenging problem, if you saw this, those are all categorized as behavior interview questions. And so we know that they ask those a ton of times. There's like a psychological reason why they ask. I forgot why. I don't have it in my notes in front of me. But whatever the case, craft you responses to some of those very generic questions so that, again, you're not looking for an answer. I hate when they be like, tell me about a time. And in my mind, I'm like, girl, I don't know. You tell me about a time. That's what I be wanting to say, but we can't say that. Got to keep it classy. But it has helped me to have my go-to answer, and I have seen over the last how many years I've been working in this space? 9, 10 years. My confidence is just skyrocketed because I have an answer and I have a go-to. So have your answers prepared. Also, in this section, if you don't know about the STAR method, you want to put on your document STAR method. When you answer these questions, you want to use the STAR method. The STAR method is a very effective approach to structuring your behavior interview questions answers. And STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. So you want to describe the situation, explain the task or the challenge that you were faced with, outline the action that you took, and then share the result. So STAR: situation, task, action, result. Some of y'all probably heard this before. Um, when you use the STAR method, it clearly answers the purpose of the behavior interview question because they're not asking you just to tell about a time just because. They want to know what was the time, what did you do, and what was the result. Pinpoint that, double click it, highlight it. STAR method. You need to have that on your outline. And I'm gonna be honest, in any outline, excuse me, I've created, I have STAR method bolded because as you're, in your interview, you can't just stop and be like, wait a minute, let me look at my cheat sheet, ma'am or sir. But I have it bolded in red so that I know, okay, STAR: situation, task, action, result. If I don't do anything else, I'm gonna give them a STAR method. And I'm gonna give them a STAR performance. Let's talk about it. Anyways, lastly, in your fourth section, you want to make sure you have questions for the interviewer. A lot of times I think we forget that we are interviewing them. Like, do I want to work for your company? Is your company good enough? Yes, we need the job, but are we desperate? No. Even if you are, no. The answer is no. We're not just going to jump at anything. So, your last section, you want to prepare thoughtful questions for the interviewer. Tailor your questions to the role and close out strong. Make sure your questions leave them saying, wow, she or he really asked me some thought provoking questions. A few of my favorites are about company culture, team dynamics. My go to is always, what are the priorities of this role in the first 6 months? That is probably the first question I always ask. I always ask about pay if it's not listed. Side note, listen, the best time to ask about pay is anytime, okay? Anytime at the beginning. Let me say that. Don't be waiting till the third and fourth interview and you find out them folks paying you $50,000. No shame to people making $50,000. That wasn't a knock. But if that's not where you are, then why waste your time, especially 3, 4 interviews, or they're paying $20 an hour? No, ma'am, no, sir. You want to ask up front. That's always. Listen to me now and listen to me good. I ask for pay in the first interview. I don't have time to be playing around because if you're not talking my numbers, baby, no second interview is needed because this is also, I'm interviewing your company. Are you good enough for me? Remember that you don't have to take every single thing and you want to use this time to get to know the company. So, all that to say, prepare thoughtful questions. Ask about the culture, ask about pay, ask why they love working at the company, ask about any key milestones that they've made or key accomplishments. Don't get too crazy. I try to limit myself to 5 questions, but ask the questions. Okay, let's summarize what we're going to do. In our interview prep document, we're going to have our about the company section. Boom. You're going to get all your key points there. We're going to have our relatable experience section because we want to make sure that we're talking the talk of the interviewer, of the company. We want to have the potential questions and answers that we know they may ask us. Get on Google, use ChatGPT, do the cheat code that I just told you about. And then lastly, we always want to have questions for the interviewer. You always have a question. I don't care if you make it up on the spot, ask them something. All right, y'all. Before we get out of here, y'all know what time it is. Homework. So, for your homework this week, if you are in the job market, I want you to have a mock interview with a friend, a family member, your boo, a mentor, somebody. Practice answering some of those questions that you're going to put in your document and be open to receiving feedback from your mock interviewer. If you're not on the job hunt, I want you to send this to somebody who is because you never know how it could help them secure the bag. All right, friends, that wraps up another episode of the School of Life podcast. As always, I hope you learned something new or gained some sort of new insight because that is why this podcast exists. Keep fighting, keep pushing, keep evolving. Talk to you soon. Enjoying the School of Life podcast? Be sure to catch us on YouTube at School of Life Podcast and follow us on Instagram at School of Life Podcast. Also, follow Miss J at _ MISSJAYE on Instagram and TikTok.
Gotta pay these student loans. That's a go for the score doing the most. That's adulting. Moving out of mom's house. That's adulting. But it's all gonna work out. That's adulting. I need a legal side hustle. That's adulting. 'Cause these bills got me in trouble.